My friend, if you are searching for a real answer, a way to build lasting wealth while still keeping your happiness, your peace, and your inner freedom, then today's story may hold that answer. Because this is not only a philosophy, this is the real journey of Naval Ravikant, a billionaire, a famous angel investor in Silicon Valley, and a man who spent half his life searching for one important question. How can we become truly prosperous without losing our sense of inner peace? From a childhood full of poverty and uncertainty, Naval grew into a man who carries both material wealth and deep clarity. The lessons he discovered did not only change his life, they have transformed the lives of millions, helping many people see their own journey with more honesty, calmness, and clarity. If you have ever wondered why your hard work still feels far from freedom, why success does not bring the happiness you expected, or whether wealth and peace can exist together, this story is for you. And if you want to receive this story fully, allow your mind to slow down for a moment. Let yourself be present with your curiosity and the desire to understand life more deeply. Listen with your heart, with the part of you that wants to understand yourself better, and with the longing to walk a path that leads to true and peaceful prosperity. Because sometimes, a small idea inside one simple story can change the way we choose to live the rest of our lives. And this story may hold such an idea for you. And if you feel that stories like this are something you want to nurture on your journey, then please subscribe to English Richness to continue growing and learning with us. Here, we do more than teach English. We help you learn how to live, how to feel, and how to slowly become a better version of yourself every single day. Part 1. Naval Ravikant, from an immigrant child to a man who mastered true prosperity. Naval Ravikant was born in 1974 in a family that immigrated from India to the United States. They carried hopes for a new life, but reality was far from easy. As a small child, Naval lived with deep scarcity. A lack of money, a lack of certainty, and a lack of emotional support. His family's separation taught him early about insecurity. But strangely, those hardships did not break him. Instead, they awakened in him a rare ability: the capacity to self-learn, self-reflect, and follow what he believed was right. He spoke little. He observed more. He learned to listen to the way the world moved, and he learned to listen to the quiet voice coming from within himself. Many children raised in comfort never learn how to stand on their own. But Naval grew up in hardship, and that helped him see the world with sharp eyes and a wide, understanding heart. Entering Silicon Valley meant stepping into a world of ideas, ambition, intelligence, and innovation. A universe where people with true vision could change the way the entire world works. When his years of study ended, Naval stepped into a completely new environment, Silicon Valley, a place filled with possibility and shaped by those who dared to dream differently. Yet even in this ambitious world, Naval did not do what people expected from a young and talented newcomer. He did not try to be the top engineer or a billionaire programmer. He did not chase fame or spotlight. Instead, he chose to become someone who could see value where others overlooked it, someone who noticed the future before it arrived. When Twitter was still a tiny project, Naval believed in it. When Uber was not yet Uber, he already saw its future. His vision made him one of the sharpest angel investors of his generation. His success did not come from luck, but from his ability to recognize value hidden inside small ideas long before others understood their potential. Later, he founded AngelList, a platform that helped thousands of startups raise capital and allowed young founders with ideals to begin their journeys with real opportunity. Naval became wealthy. But what made people call him a happy billionaire was not the amount of money he owned, but the way he understood the meaning of true wealth. And this is what makes him different from most wealthy individuals: his clarity about prosperity, freedom, and the deeper meaning of living from the inside out. 3 core principles of wealth. According to Naval Ravikant, insights shaped not by theory, but through experience, intuition, and years of reflecting on his own life. When Naval spoke about wealth, he never used empty or decorative words. He spoke from lived experience, inner intuition, and the lessons shaped through his personal journey. He shared 3 principles: foundations strong enough to change how a person creates wealth, and how a person chooses to live their life each day. These principles are not complex theories. They are simple truths, ones most of us tend to overlook, even though they hold the power to transform our entire understanding of wealth. First principle: seek true wealth, not money or status. Naval believed most people spend their lives chasing the wrong things, often without even realizing it. We chase higher salaries, recognition, positions, approval, and social validation. But all of these bring only short moments of feeling rich before they quickly fade away. And when they fade, they leave behind anxiety, fear of loss, insecurity, and the constant pressure of trying to hold on to what was never real wealth in the first place. So what is true wealth? According to Naval, true wealth is when you own assets that continue to earn money even while you are asleep, without requiring your time. These assets can be a rental home, shares in a business, software you created, a course you built, a book you published, a long-lasting video, or even a patent you invented. Any asset that can be replicated endlessly and still continue to create value is considered real wealth, because its growth is no longer limited by your personal time. In the 21st century, the strongest form of wealth is intellectual property, because it can spread across the world at almost zero cost and reach unlimited numbers of people. You create something once, but the value can continue to expand for years, sometimes even for a lifetime, without needing additional effort from you. And that is true wealth. Not the amount of money you collect, but your ability to keep creating value even when you are not physically present to produce it. Second principle: be yourself, because that is the one advantage no one can ever copy, the only strength that truly cannot be replaced by anyone else. This idea comes from one of Naval's most famous statements: if you compete by being like others, you will lose. But if you compete by being yourself, you have no competition. We live in a world where everyone chases trends. Someone studies one major, and we follow. Someone starts a certain business, and we copy. Someone invests somewhere, and we rush in too. But Naval says all of this only turns you into a copy of someone else. And every copy can eventually be replaced, no matter how hard it tries to stay relevant. True, sustainable wealth belongs to those who dare to live as their non-replaceable version, their unique self that cannot be duplicated by anyone else. It begins with what you do naturally, the things that feel easy to you, even when others find them difficult or exhausting to do on their own. It continues with what you genuinely love, what you learn quickly, what you have strong intuition for, and what you are willing to refine and practice for many years. This is your personal expertise, something that cannot be bought, cannot be mass-taught, and cannot be copied. It is the unique value only you can bring to the world. When you are truly yourself, you step out of the crowded race of the majority. You enter a game where only you can win because no one else carries your combination of strengths. Third principle, productize yourself, turning your knowledge, your insight, and your lived experience into forms that can reach and help people everywhere. Productize yourself is something Naval often emphasized. He did not mean turning yourself into a product, but transforming your understanding into something shareable. This includes turning your ideas into books, videos, podcasts, apps, systems, courses, tools, solutions, or any kind of content that can be distributed without limits. You create something once, but its value multiplies many times. This is how you separate your income from your time and begin stepping toward true freedom. Leverage, the hidden power that lifts ordinary people into extraordinary ones. After the three principles, Naval speaks about something that accelerates everything. Leverage. No one becomes wealthy through personal effort alone. Wealthy people use leverage. Naval highlights 3 types of leverage he considers the most essential: human leverage, capital leverage, and intellectual or technological leverage, the strongest form. These are the forces that multiply effort far beyond personal limits. A video created once can bring value to millions of people. A line of code written once can power an entire system for years. A single idea shared once can touch many hearts. This is the formula for prosperity: creating something once and letting it expand, multiply, and grow far beyond the hours you personally put in. Finding personal expertise, the journey of returning to yourself. After learning Naval's 3 principles, many people think the path forward is simple: work hard and build assets. But Naval says the journey does not begin from the outside. It begins from within. You cannot build lasting wealth from something that does not belong to you. You can only build wealth from what is naturally born inside you: the things you do well, the things you love, and the things you do without feeling tired or forced. This is called personal expertise, not a hot skill, not a trend, not what the market demands, but the natural strengths that belong uniquely to you. Naval says there are 3 directions to begin exploring your personal expertise, starting with the things that reflect who you have always been. First direction: look into the past, where the traces of your true nature are hidden. The things you once did easily or naturally are important clues about yourself. Your personal expertise is not built from things you force yourself to be good at, but from things you are excellent at without trying too hard. Ask yourself, when I was young, what did I enjoy most? What did I do effortlessly while others struggled? What made me feel like I was truly myself? Inside those soft, unclear answers lies something that can guide you back to your roots and reveal the starting point of your true strengths. Second direction: look into the present to see what you repeatedly give your time to. Naval believes we cannot lie to ourselves for long. A person may claim to love something, but the way they spend their time reveals what they truly care about. Time always shows your real priorities. Your personal expertise is something you spend time on without feeling tired. Something you return to even when no one asks you to. Something you cannot stop doing. If you can do something for thousands of hours and still feel curious, still feel drawn to it, then that is the root of your personal expertise. Third direction: look into the future. What are you willing to do for many years? Naval says you cannot build wealth if you cannot repeat something long enough. Personal expertise must be something you can pursue for a long time, long enough to become excellent, because the world rewards excellence far more than simple competence. Many people can do something well, but very few can do something exceptionally. And society pays the highest value to those who choose the path of excellence. That is why personal expertise must be connected to natural passion. Only passion can take you far enough, long enough, to reach the level where excellence begins. An important truth: personal expertise cannot be taught. You can only discover it yourself. Naval considers this a central point in the entire journey of wealth. What schools teach are things that can be trained for the masses. And anything that can be trained for the masses can eventually be replaced by the masses. Personal expertise, however, is made of things that are hard to describe, hard to teach, hard to replicate, and deeply connected to your natural identity. This is why the path to sustainable wealth does not begin with learning a new skill, but with asking yourself the questions that reveal your true foundation. Who am I? What am I naturally good at? What makes me different from others? These questions guide you back to the place where your real strengths begin. When you answer these questions honestly, you will understand which direction your assets should be built from and where your long-term value truly lies. True retirement, not at age 60, but as a way of living. Naval has a very different perspective on what retirement really means. Most people believe retirement happens when we become old enough and rich enough to stop working and finally enjoy life without pressure or responsibility. But Naval says, retirement is when you no longer have to sacrifice today for a tomorrow that exists only in your imagination. Retirement has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with the state of your inner life, whether you are living freely or living under pressure. A person can retire at 30 if they do what they love. Another person may never retire if they only do what they are forced to do every day. Naval describes 3 paths that can lead to true retirement, a state where you live without the burden of trading your present for an imagined future. First path: accumulate enough assets to live on passive income. This is the classic way: owning rental homes, company shares, or income-generating assets. If the passive income is greater than your daily expenses, you can choose not to work anymore. But Naval says this path is effective yet difficult for young people. Second path: reduce your expenses so you do not need too much money. This path is rarely considered, but it is incredibly powerful and freeing. When you live simply and mindfully, you no longer need a large income to feel fulfilled. Many people think they need more, but in truth, they only need less. The fewer desires you have, the less pressure you carry, and the closer you move toward true freedom. Simplicity becomes a doorway to inner peace. Third path: do the work you love, so you never need to retire. Naval believes this is the best and most liberating path to a free and meaningful life. When you do what you love, you leave the sacrifice mode. You no longer trade today for a better tomorrow or wake up each morning feeling pushed by obligation. You stop counting the hours until the day ends. You stop forcing yourself through routines. Instead, you begin living and working in the present moment. You live right now. You work right now. You enjoy each moment without the tension of waiting for life to begin later. Each day becomes part of your freedom. And that is true retirement, when your work becomes joy and your time becomes the most precious asset you own, not something you constantly trade away. Part 2 of Naval's journey. Happiness is also a skill. After speaking about wealth, Naval turned to happiness, and what he said made many people stop and reflect deeply. Happiness is a skill. It is not a gift from destiny, not a privilege of lucky people, and not something that arrives naturally after success. Happiness is something we must train, just like any other skill. Naval says that most of our unhappiness comes from one very clear source: desire. Desire, the thief of the present moment. Naval explains that every worry, every fear, every form of inner discomfort comes from one belief inside our mind. We think we need something else in order to be happier than we are right now. The moment we desire something, we choose a form of unhappiness for ourselves. We tell ourselves, "I will be happy when I have A. I will feel safe when I reach B. I will finally be peaceful when I achieve C." But the moment we think this way, we lose the present moment. We place our happiness in a future that has not arrived, and may never arrive at all. Naval learned this from the philosophy of Lao Tzu. Not feeling lacking, that is true happiness. Happiness begins when the mind stops believing it is missing something. Do not hate money, but be cautious of greed. Naval has a very interesting view on money. He never teaches people to reject money or run after it blindly. He says, if you look down on money, money will avoid you. If you chase money with greed, money will betray you. But if you understand the nature of money, it will stay with you like a kind and reliable companion. Money is not the problem. Desire is. Money itself is not bad. What harms people is desire, the endless hunger that never feels satisfied, no matter how much one earns. When you upgrade your lifestyle too fast, when income rises but expenses rise even faster, you will always feel lacking, no matter how much you make. Happiness does not depend on how high your living standard is, but on how you relate to life. Contentment comes from perception, not from luxury. 2 foundations of happiness according to Naval. The first foundation: living in the present moment, the place where freedom becomes possible. Naval says that when we live in the present, we are no longer controlled by desire, fear, or the constant pressure of things we have not yet achieved. Living in the present means seeing what is happening now without being pulled away by the noise inside our mind, the echoes of worry and expectation. When we work for the joy of working, not for rewards or recognition. When we love for the joy of loving, not for what we hope to receive in return. When we learn for the joy of growing, not because we are afraid of falling behind. The present is the only place where freedom can truly appear. The second foundation: changing habits to change your life. Naval believes habits form the foundation of happiness, not big achievements or dramatic moments. Happiness grows from the small things we repeat every day. Naval encourages us to stop complaining, stop judging, stop being angry, and stop consuming mental noise. Stop doing the things that pull you away from yourself. Instead, read, meditate, exercise, walk, spend time in quiet places, and nourish your mind with kindness. Naval believes happiness does not come from major changes. It comes from very small habits, practiced correctly and consistently across a long period of time. There is a moment in the book about Naval that made many readers pause for a long time. It is when he said, "Life has no fixed meaning. But the journey of seeking meaning, that is the meaning." This simple sentence feels as gentle as a breath, but strong enough to awaken tired hearts. We grow up with many abilities, but also with many expectations: to succeed, to be recognized, to do the right things, and to become someone. And then we enter races we are not sure we even want. We chase goals we did not choose. We run toward finish lines someone else drew for us. When we finally stop, we realize we have lost pieces of ourselves along the way without noticing. That is why Naval says happiness is not found at the finish line. Happiness comes when we realize we are living in alignment with our true nature, when we return to who we are instead of who we are expected to be. Living true to yourself, the hardest thing, yet the most valuable. Naval once said, "You cannot be happy if you are not yourself." This statement continues naturally from the 3 principles of wealth. When you are yourself, you discover your personal expertise, the foundation of your freedom. When you find your personal expertise, you can create assets. When you create assets, you gain freedom. And with freedom, you finally have space for happiness. Everything begins with you, not with who others want you to become, not with the roles life pushes onto you, not with the patterns society builds for you. True freedom begins with true honesty, and that honesty lives inside you, not outside, not in expectations, but in your deepest and most natural self. A state of inner peace appears when the mind stops comparing and begins living. Naval believes most suffering does not come from loss, but from comparison. We compare ourselves with people who seem more successful, happier, richer, or more loved. These comparisons strike our mind like a hammer, again and again. When we compare, we stop living in the present. We begin living in the image of who I should be, or in the ideal versions of ourselves we create. And because of that, we forget the beautiful things happening right now. We overlook the quiet moments that already hold peace, joy, and meaning. Naval says, "The less you desire, the less you worry. When you let go of desire, you find peace." Happiness is not about having more. It is about needing less. Happiness is subtracting expectations, subtracting pressure, subtracting comparison, subtracting the battles we fight only inside our minds. When we are no longer haunted by what we do not have, we finally become free to enjoy what we already do have, the life unfolding in front of us. One life-changing habit: valuing time over money. Naval says, "Time matters more than money. You can earn back money, but you can never earn back time." Many young people trade hours, days, even years of their life for money that is worth far less than the true value of their time and existence. They spend time as if it were infinite, yet hold on to money as if it were everything. Naval calls this an unfortunate and harmful reversal. He advises, spend money to buy back time, not spend time to acquire things that only make your life heavier and more complicated. A person becomes wealthier not because they earn more, but because they spend their time on the right things, the things that truly matter. When you learn to value time, you begin to value your life. You stop wasting it on things that drain your energy and give nothing meaningful in return. Choose the hard path, because it gives long-term freedom. Naval said a famous line many people remember: "If you must choose, choose the hard path." The easy path is tempting: fast money, fast results, surface achievements. But it is full of traps: dependence, instability, and vulnerability when life changes. The hard path may challenge you at the beginning, but it teaches discipline, patience, self-reliance, and the ability to build something truly sustainable. The hard path is the path that eventually leads to freedom, because what you build on a strong foundation cannot be taken away easily. Decision-making, and the quiet of inner clarity. Naval believes you cannot decide because you do not truly want it. Hesitation is often a message from within. Many people struggle between choices, analyze too much, think for too long, and end up trapped in delay, confusion, and unnecessary pressure. According to Naval, hesitation is often a sign that either your desire is not strong enough or you are choosing for others instead of choosing for yourself. When you truly want something, you feel a sense of inner clarity, a quietness. No heavy reasoning, no endless debate, just a deep knowing inside you. You simply know, this is what I must do. That inner silence becomes your compass, guiding you more accurately than any external advice or expectation. Naval advises, once you have decided, act immediately. Let time become your partner, and let patience become your superpower along the journey. Body, mind, spirit, three pieces that cannot be separated. Naval sees self-care as an essential part of happiness, not a luxury or an afterthought. For him, happiness is not a peak to reach, but a practice, a cycle where body, mind, and inner awareness support each other every single day. When the body is healthy, the mind becomes clear. When the mind is clear, emotions become steady. When emotions are steady, wisdom appears naturally. And when wisdom appears, happiness arrives without effort. This is why Naval constantly speaks about meditation, exercise, walking, stillness, and awareness. He encourages practices such as observing the breath, journaling, spending quiet time alone, habits that form the foundation of a conscious and awakened life. These are not tips to reduce stress. They are the pillars of living with clarity, stability, and deep presence. A life not only wealthy, but awake. Understanding the meaning of life, not to find an answer, but to learn how to live. Naval's teachings point toward one profound conclusion. Life has no fixed meaning. Meaning is the journey we live every day, one choice at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time. Many people believe they must achieve something important to feel complete. A title, a position, a success, a milestone, a recognition from others. But even after achieving those things, many still feel empty, still feel unsatisfied, still feel incomplete, because meaning was never at the destination. Meaning lives in each step we take, in each choice we make, in each moment we live honestly with our own nature, instead of someone else's expectations. You do not need to find the meaning of life. You only need to live in a way that feels meaningful to you. The rest will arrange itself naturally. And now, after walking through Naval's journey, you may pause for a moment and listen to your own heart, the part of you that knows the truth. Because the important thing is not to understand Naval, but to understand yourself. Ask yourself quietly and honestly, am I living true to who I am? Am I chasing something that belongs to someone else? Am I trading today for a tomorrow that may never come? Am I living in the present moment? Am I building assets? Or am I still selling my time? Am I living in ways that bring me peace? Am I choosing what aligns with my true nature? Let these questions stay with you, in silence, like an invitation to return to yourself, to the place where clarity and peace begin. Lesson: the distilled teachings. From Naval's story, there are three powerful truths worth carrying with you wherever you go. First, wealth is a skill, not luck. And any skill can be learned when you walk in the right direction with clarity and patience. Second, happiness is a skill, not a destination. It comes from the present moment, from understanding yourself, and from releasing what does not belong to you. Third, freedom is the shared destination of both wealth and happiness. Freedom to live, to choose, and to return to your irreplaceable nature. If this story touched you, share it with someone who might need a small source of light for their own journey through life. And tell us in the comments, what is the smallest change you will begin today? What is the first step toward the life you truly want? Remember, at English Richness, we do more than share stories to help you learn English. We share ideas that awaken your inner wealth and awareness. Subscribe to continue walking with us on this journey, because together we will keep learning, growing, and becoming more of who we are meant to be. Better English, better life. And above all, you better, starting today.